of their men from the sword, from famine, and from pestilence, that they may declare all their abominations among the Gentiles wherever they go. Then they shall know that I am the Lord. You may be seated. That is a sober passage. First, I want us to take a quick look. Pictures. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to show you a couple maps. This one is a picture of the Middle Eastern area. This is where Israel is here, this area. And here's the Euphrates and the Tigris River, and that is, of course, in the area of Iraq, from the Persian Gulf up to here. Nineveh, that one where, who ended up in Nineveh? Jonah ended up in Nineveh. Remember, the people rebelling against God, and Jonah, against his will, finally went and he preached to the people to repent. And they did repent, from the leader of the city on down, and they repented, and God forgave them. And that was the city of Nineveh. It still exists today. The city's a real city, and it's still there. And our troops have been in Nineveh when they were in Iraq. So that's the area of Iraq. Then over here, so we called it, in those days, was Babylon, Babylonia. That area, the Fertile Crescent, they call it. Very fertile area at that time, along the rivers. And then east of that is this country that used to be called Persia, and now it's Iran. And Iran is much larger than Iraq. Geographically, it's a much larger area in square miles than Iraq. So we have this enemy east of what was then Babylonia and is now Iraq, Iran. And guess what? All these places, Persia then, which is now Iran, and Iraq, which was then Babylon, all these are enemies of the people of Israel, right? They have been for a long time, over 2,000 years, over 2,700 years. These people have been enemies of the Jews or the Israelites, okay? So that's the area we're talking about. And these lines show where the people were taken into captivity. And this went on. God didn't just come in and crush Israel. He was trying to get Israel to wake up and realize He's God. And the people were not listening to God, and the people were doing whatever they wanted in their own eyes, and the people were rebelling against God, and God was trying to get their attention. And He allowed the northern kingdom, which was Israel, and the southern kingdom was Judah. He allowed the northern kingdom to be invaded and taken into captivity around 722 years before Christ. And it was taken, and there's a line here that represents that. That is this kind of a purplish line, and that is goes up here by Gozan and Nineveh, Assyria. And so the Assyrians came in and invaded into what we call Canaan, or the Promised Land, and they took a lot of the Israelites from the northern kingdom of Israel, and they took them into captivity. That didn't get the attention of the southern kingdom. Can you believe this? This would be like the northern states north of the line of Dixie all got taken into captivity by some foreign people. And the people in the south all said, oh, it's going to happen to us. And this went on for like 100 years. And about 100 years later, God had had enough of these people who He kept warning and warning and warning to stop and read my word. Repent from your sin. Listen to me. And God was willing to forgive them and to restore them, but they would not listen. They disrespected God. They disrespected, again, worshiping idols, which, by the way, can be anything you put in the place of God. Idols could be anything. It could be money, cars, houses. It could be sex. It could be gambling. It could be anything that takes the place of your attention away from God. Any material thing or any other people or anything else that becomes like an idol and replaces your worship of God and respect for God, and anything else that becomes more important than God, so you don't have time for God anymore, this is to God an idol, and you're being unfaithful. He wants to be our husband in that sense, and we, His people, are the bride. So He wants us to be faithful to Him. He doesn't like it when we're unfaithful to him. Can you get the picture? He doesn't like infidelity. And so he warns us, and he's willing to forgive and take us back, but after so long, he finally says, that's why he said in this passage, I hope you picked that up, they have eyes to see, doesn't see. Ears to hear, doesn't hear. They're a rebellious house. These are people that God loved. He has promised to these people that he would be their God and that they would be his people. That he would someday restore them as a nation. But the individuals here that are refusing to listen to him are in for it, and they're trying to say, it's not going to happen to us. We're not that kind of nation. This isn't going to happen to us. We can get away with it. Unlike America, aren't we a repentant nation and faithful to God?